queens, cut from a different cloth. Now, joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the live show. Yeah, sir and ma'am.
Inclusive, you know the vibes.
Yeah. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know where else. Other places maybe, but we're live, and we appreciate everybody who's watching this, whether it is live or whether it is the replay. We appreciate it. Episode 59. Are we up to 59? This is crazy.
59. Yep,
59 is out right now. So if you are live, let me know if you listen to it. We talked about some heavy but important stuff this week with Travis Scott, Meta, and the whole metaverse, which we have a special announcement at the end, but and of course the Kanye West interview, which we talked a little bit about last week on the live show, but it was a good show. Go check it out. It's a whole vibe. Moose, how are we feeling? How's everything?
Man, feeling pretty good actually. I been productive day, got to do a little bit of everything, and I'm been in a good little flow last little bit. I think going on a couple months now is just like finding rhythm and cutting out all the noise. It's just like, yeah, this is good. Been all right.
Okay.
Can't complain.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. A lot of descriptions and details with that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to throw a little something for the people because they say I don't share enough. So
We getting closer, people. We are getting closer. Just like a centimeter closer only. Just a centimeter closer. But it's there. And we appreciate you.
Oh, sure. How you doing though? What's up in Nicky World? Talk to us about
Nicky World, I almost died.
Oh, you did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I almost died. I executed on moving a king-size bed by myself to put a box frame underneath it. Some people would be like, whatever, Nicky, that's not exciting. No, it's not. But when you are 5'2", okay, when you are 5'2", doing that by yourself,
it's a lot.
Okay, it is a lot. This literally happened maybe about, 10, 20 minutes before this live. So I'm surprised that I really got my breath all together, all that great stuff. But we're here, alive, and well.
That's it. I'll take it. No announcements, like no. I saw some that you were. Saw a little some. I got an email about it actually that you were nominated for a Podcast of the Year award. Podcaster.
Yes. Shout out to what is it? The Black Christian influencer, which is the craziest part, by the way. Can we not just? Right. That's a little crazy.
That's fine though. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Hey, we're being very forward.
Listen,
I think
praise God.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Praise God. I'm here for it. But let me get the exact, because everybody's been tagging me on it, so I'm with it. Black Christian influencer on Instagram, and I believe they're on Facebook too, but definitely on Instagram. I got nominated for Podcaster of the Year with some other amazing people. But I will say, our tribe.
Heavy lineup, yeah.
Yeah. But our tribe and my tribe combined is very disgusting. It's very disgusting.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through the comments. I was like, oh, it's already clean. Like, what are we doing? Just
it's ended right now. Just absolutely ended right now. So
put a bow on it.
Yeah. So if you happen to have Instagram and you would like to vote, All it
do.
needs is a tag from, tag this person over here, me, and tag Nicky and Moose as well, right? To Black Christian influencers with an S. Okay, like I said, that really that got me. That like I know the founder. This is the funny part about it. Let me be transparent. Let's do this, right? I know the founder is Jackie. I love Jackie. We met on Clubhouse, right? Mm-hmm. However, Black Christian influencer and me is definitely. I didn't see that coming. But she always involves me in these like little trainings and like I'm honorary. This is interesting. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all.
We need more open-minded people like that. That's what's
Facts.
up. I mean,
because let that happen any other group. They'd be like, So I appreciate it. It makes me feel nice and warm, but it definitely threw me off. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be the poster child.
Thanks. Hey, but for real, man. If you haven't gone and on that post and just tagged Nicky, please go ahead and do that, man. I think that's a nice way to just say thank you to her for all the incredible work and content that she puts into this and puts it out. I mean, she for sure helps to carry the load on my end because, I ain't even gonna get into that. But yeah, she's awesome, man. Definitely go show her some love. She definitely deserves it. So that'll be dope.
I got a Moose Award. We won. I think we said it, but we won like silver on the best remote podcast.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
We never talked about that, did we?
I don't think we did. I don't think, but
that was huge.
Yeah. Little light work, but
That's pretty cool.
Well, you know what I'm the most proud of? I'm gonna say this. Hey Q. Hold on.
Oh, QD's in the house.
And can I say this, Q? I'm mad because you know how big of a Nipsey Hussle fan I am, and you interviewed one of the producers, and I'm just like, can you give me a heads up? Like, you didn't want it Nicky, this is an interview you're probably going to want to watch. I get
Q's
it.
Guest list is disgusting. Though.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
He's definitely one of those people that make you want to quit. Like, damn, what am I? Probably not even. Q, for sure. Definitely some super cool stuff he got going on. Yeah.
He has amazing. He has Tyrese coming up. Crazy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Crazy. So, shout out to Q. Love him. Go check out his podcast, FAQ podcast with Fuzzy. It's really they have really great guests. I'm not even lying about it. I'm done asking him for leftovers though. I will say that. I'm super done asking for the leftovers. Like, can I get the engineer of the producer of the I'm tired of asking. I've asked this for it feels like a year now. It feels like a strong year. I don't even know, Q, if you've been podcasting for a year, but it feels like I've been asking for a year. So I just, you know what? It's cool.
Hey, but I will say this. We had an awesome live, and I think we got him on the podcast too, right? Facebook show for some of our super day ones.
I don't think we got him on the podcast. No.
I think we might have.
Look it up. I don't think so. I have to look it up.
Well, nonetheless, look up either way. If you haven't, definitely tune into that episode on the Facebook Live because I still remember the Jay-Z story that he told, and I was like, good God almighty.
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest lessons and super dope stories, of course, especially if you a Brooklynite or a New Yorker and love hip hop. Just to hear that story is super dope. So if you don't know what we're talking about, I ain't even going to tell you. Go check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Look up the interview with QD's super, super dope convo though. So yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Shout out to Q. But can I say something? Before Q came on, I was going to say, you know what I'm really proud about? Let me say one thing. Mm-hmm. If y'all Google Moose Ghonim, not Mostafa. If you Google Moose, the podcast comes out.
Hey.
That's what I'm proud about.
That's what's up.
Regardless of what angle you may look up Moose, you gonna find something of him, and that was important because before it was nothing was coming up with Moose. I was like,
as
much as
I
E
put
screams,
effort into Moose. Yeah,
right. No, you
Moose, it was
need to do your government name. Absolutely, take care of your government name. I'm gonna leave that to you, okay?
Thanks. Yeah,
even
yeah, for
though,
sure.
even though you put the government name, the stuff still comes up too. But let me take care of the social media character we have of Moose. Like
Yeah,
that's there. Like
fair,
so,
fair. I
I'm
love it.
very proud
I
of that
love it.
one.
No,
That's my
for
thing.
sure.
But
For
Moose,
sure.
what we talking about today?
Man, so it's just so I've been and you know, I told you a couple of I think it was last week I came on here and I was like, oh, you know, I'm upgrading my equipment. Doing and seeing things just a lot differently. I think
Yep.
one of the things for me that is important from time to time, I have to step back from everything that I'm doing to really see what I'm doing.
Right.
All right. And I don't know if anybody out there is resonating with this, but literally for me, I think sometimes I could get so sucked into the day to day that I kind of lose track of what I'm doing, if I'm doing it effectively, and what are some of the things that I'm doing wrong. So when I quiet the noise a little bit, right, and just kind of like pull myself out of it, I start to get a lot more clarity about opportunities, about things to do a little bit better, about people to better serve. Maybe that I feel like, man, you've been a terrible friend or a bad business partner. It's like you can do better in those areas. But no matter how much work we put into it, we never see those things unless we're involved. So that adjustment has led me onto this concept of evaluating the cost of free, right? Because I think it's something, and yeah, it's a play on words because you're like, wait a minute, how does something that's free cost us something? Well, the truth is, nothing is free in this world, right? Like if we're being honest with ourselves and we really start to think things through, nothing is free in this world. So the first thing is when you think about taking shortcuts, and it really is a mindset issue, but we're going to talk about it. You know how we do on Tuesdays, personal side first, and we'll jump onto brand and business as well on the second half. But
Yep.
if you really think about it, it comes from this like a lack or fear type mentality where you're trying to just chase the next dollar or cut every corner so you can save a couple pennies together. So you might say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to get the new MacBook Pro. But instead of making some upgrades or modifications to get something that is going to survive and work for what you're going to use it for, you might choose maybe like the lowest option. And the difference between the two is a couple $100. Now, I'm not telling people to spend, you know, all their money on stuff. But the truth is, Nikki, when you get something that doesn't meet the qualifications or, you know, what you want to use it for, in a way, you're paying double for it, right? Because you buy it, you're going to have to buy some more things to go along with it, and probably still not get the function that you would have wanted to get out of it had you just made the investment to begin with. And it's the same thing when we go with even some of the cheaper or more cost-effective products. You buy something because it doesn't cost you much, but then you might end up buying it twice or having to upgrade and get the premium version of it anyway. So when you think about it, it's like, yo, every time I cut corners, I'm always paying more for something. So although something may come off as cheap, inexpensive, or even free, it opens me up to something to have to spend more, have to make the adjustment. So I really want to talk about, yo, how can we get our people, our friends, everyone who's listening to this both live and on the replay to start thinking a little bit more from a bigger picture and not worry so much about right now and start thinking about, man, although it feels like I'm saving money right now, I'm actually buying stuff twice. Now, of course, it's a little. I want to be a little sensitive to it because it is money, and at the end of the day, it can be a limited resource at some point of our careers, and I totally understand that. But I want to start that off. So let's talk about it first again from a personal standpoint, just like from a one-on-one situation. Like what creates this types of thinking? If you've ever been through something like that, like I said, I know for sure I have. And there were some books I had to read, some things I had to kind of get acclimated with to start thinking a little bit differently. And I'm being reminded of it more in this season right now, just to kind of start, keep building on it.
Yeah. So I will say, shout out to my mom. She's always big on the whole, like, get exactly what you want, because you shouldn't have to buy it twice, kind of thing. Like, you deserve what you want, and anything that's going to kind of make your life easier, do that, right? So I lived with that until you move out, right? And then it gets real, right?
Right.
So here I am thinking I'm supposed to get everything I want, and then I'm really dealing with budgets and like what's in the bank account and what I really want.
Yeah.
Saving the $200-$300, like you said, where I got in the beginning maybe a regular Mac compared to a MacBook Pro or something like that when they had those, right? I thought I was doing good. I was like, okay, I could save this 200. But if you really think about it, it's like we spend it on other stuff that makes no sense anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, are you really saving, or are you saving for that second? You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's I go through that, and then of course, I learned very quickly and understand we're as you go through different phases. Of course, you have different amounts of money in your bank account, right?
Absolutely.
So, sometime in from a grocery standpoint, you may get the Key Food brand, right, instead of the Prego. Okay.
Right.
Maybe. Praise God, I never really had to go through that, but I understood it. Like, I was like, oh, I could do this if I wanted to, right? Boom.
Great value brand for those of you not from the East Coast. I mean,
Facts.
Great value is the Walmart. Yeah.
What is it? Food Lion, all those, whatever your grocery store, their particular brand, you go by that compared to Kraft or, Haagen-Dazs or Haagen-Dazs, however you want to pronounce it, right?
Croissant.
But
Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, you know what I mean? So there is a lot about that. The crazy thing is, and I could use him as an example because we always use him as an example, and he's gotten a whole lot better. Jose was the old me, right? So I would always try to find something within my budget, right, to kind of save money so I, could have other stuff that was maybe more priority, or, just I didn't see the value in paying for this particular brand, right? Jose is so big on like, all right, how much is that hat? All right, cool. I found another one that like a little bit like it's a little bit more curvier, right? And not the greatest, like not the same quality, but it's like, but no. But it's like $30 less. So let me go get that. It's the same thing, right?
Right.
And he's big on finding the best value of every single thing. Granted, he always had to pay again or it slowed down his process. So like, and this is another example, like all the tech people go through this. We will run down a whole computer until it lasts, like its last leg. Like it's like beep, beep, and you're like, all right, I gotta do it, right? Where we're actually wasting time and money because we're not upgrading every 3 years like we're supposed to, right? But we're thinking we're doing okay, right? Like we're saving money. But in the really, like the scheme of things is that we're wasting money because what something would take maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes to send off and do, the processor is not working right. It's shutting down a little bit. So now it went from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. Now it went from something that normally takes you 20 minutes to now a whole hour, right? It's like, there's no point to this no more. So, and by no means am I saying, hey, I got way more money now. No, I just know how to manage my money to where I respect brands that actually get the job done. I
like that.
Brands that actually make sure that my workflow and my work-life balance is dope and that I could do everything in a fast pace or in a reasonable pace rather than the cheap pace,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
cheap equals slow to me in my life, right? That's no shade to nobody, but it's
Yeah.
like there's reasons why there's a price for certain things, and I never really understood it until a laptop situation, until a car situation, until those certain things happen, because we, even from a let's say a food situation, this doesn't taste the same, but I'm hungry, so it works out, so we're good, right? And then you try the filet mignon, and you're like, "Ooh, hold on,
Different.
why did I ever do sirloin? This is
Right.
what?" So another prime example during the pandemic, can I get the Thomas English muffin bagels? Absolutely. I could get that. That's like $2-3 for 6, right? We're good. I could get a dozen of those for like $4 on sale. We're good. No, here my behind go getting New York bagels 12 for $50. What?
Yeah.
Why? Because it was better. And I appreciate better than I can get it in like real quick, fast, in a hurry. Nah,
Yeah.
not the same. So it was a process, and I went 17 different directions, and I know this, but it was a process to really understand that my time and my work-life balance really depends on me not being cheap. Not cheap with my money, cheap with my time, nothing like that. I cannot be cheap with it. I literally have to, and understand, like, I get what I pay for.
100%.
So if I'm always trying to find the deal and the free way of doing things, I know for sure anything with the house, I gotta pay somebody. Why? Because my cheap behind tried to do it myself, and now I have a bulb that, like, the ceiling fan is completely broke because I don't know what I'm doing at all. So
Now you gotta get somebody to
now
do it anyway. Absolutely.
I gotta buy a whole new
Absolutely.
thing. I gotta buy a whole new
Yep.
protector of the thing, and that it just makes no sense. So yeah, I pay for convenience. I do that, but I pay to have my time back as well, and I know that's gonna cost, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly the point that I wanted us to kind of like start with, because it's like, yo, it's true. Even stuff that you do yourself, right? You're like, oh, you know what? It's not worth it. Let me do it myself. But if you can't do it correctly, or whatever the case may be, then guess what? Now you wasted time,
Yeah,
frustration, energy, the whole mind.
yeah,
And now you got to bring somebody anyway, which you could have just brought to begin with and not had to go through that whole loop. So, like I said, I think it starts with a mentality. Like, we're literally, it's a thought process. It's the way we think and we see the world. Now, I will say I'm super grateful for exposure. Like, honestly, super grateful for exposure. Carl and I are starting to enter like these conversations on a huge project, right? We talked before, like, man, I think growing to 8 figures would be a huge deal. Now we're looking at something that could possibly hit 9 figures, like ridiculous, right? But the conversations there are totally different. Now, here's why I'm saying this. The people that you meet in these dialogues, they tell you a lot about money, because look what I started with. Like, I'm talking about 8 and 9 figures, meaning 10 million, 100 million. These are astronomical numbers. I mean, heck, from where I come from, for most people of our community, I want to say for most of us, that's a big deal. Like, we're not involved in these types of conversations, at least not early in the game. Now, here's the biggest thing that I learned from them. And this is why they're able to, I think, have less difficulty with money. They don't look at money as something that they get value from. They look at money as a resource.
yes,
That's,
yes.
yo, I can't stress the importance of what this is. And again, I want to say it again, because I really need people to pay attention to how important this is. People who have money, they don't look at money as something that gives them value or validation or worth, right? Because if you think about it that way, then regardless of how little you got or how much you got, you see that every dollar that you put out of your bank account, out of your pocket, you're becoming what? Less valuable, less worthy, right? Maybe not as confident. So it's almost a setup to not spend, to not let go of your money. Or if you are going to spend, take the shortest and cheapest route to any and everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the flip side of it, for those who look at money as a resource, they literally train their minds, and it becomes such a natural way of their being to look at money as a way to help you do more, right? So whether it's drive more impact, as a matter of fact, use money to help you make more money. So they think different, they move different, they behave different, right? Use money to help other people. And I was like, yo, this whole time I'm thinking it's got to be something totally bigger, but it's that one key thing. Now, again, I understand, because if we come from lack or we grew up on a shortage of that, and that seemed to be the area of weight most of our life problems came from, they're financially backed or financial reasons as to why we have some of these challenges, it's difficult to break out of that habit. But I think just following that principle, and I came up with a saying on Sunday or Saturday, shout out to our extreme execution coaches. I was doing just a small little dialogue with one of our coaches. And I said, it's simple. Wherever you have a problem, create a principle for it. Right? Like it just becomes a way of thinking now. So I'm like, that's one of the most fundamental pieces of it. Don't use money as a value thing, validation thing, or a confidence thing, but really think about it more strictly as a resource. If I guarantee you, there's no way that you can move the next 30, 60 days the same way you've always moved if you can force yourself to start thinking differently about money. Again, it's not right for a confidence thing, but it's what can I do with it? What can I create with it? How can I make something bigger and better with it? It starts to help you unlock that mentality. So I saw someone in the chat who talked about like the difference between the PDF set for $25 versus like the all-in $2,500 coaching program. And again, it's the same mentality. You're going to shortcut and be like, let me see how much I can do on my own, knowing pretty well it's going to be very little compared to what you could do on a 100x type investment that, again, is still for you. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just really fascinated with this idea right now to get out of that small-minded thinking about, let me not spend much. Let me be more conservative with my spending. Let me do this. At some point, we have to start playing the game a little bit differently. Now, again, if you're someone who's just spending money on stuff that you know is a waste, I can understand you creating better spending habits there. But there is a difference that we got to stop cutting corners, especially when it comes to investing in ourselves.
Also, side note, breaking news. There's a picture of Drake and Kanye West together at Drake's mansion. The beef has officially been squashed.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's what's up. So I guess it wasn't a whole publicity stunt after all.
Oh, yeah, because that was a horrible read. That was a horrible read. I don't know how that happened. That was a horrible read. But we're here. My bad. Just had to give that breaking news.
Live on the show.
Live on the show. Live. We're here. We're here. I wish I could show you guys, but that's too much. So it will be on Nicky and Moose Instagram for you to see. You know what I mean? But
no, for sure.
All right, where are we going with next, Moose?
Yeah, no. Now let's flip it from a branding and business standpoint, right? Because I think the dialogue is a little bit different there, right? When you start talking about, all right, this is the way I should think about money versus how I help maybe the community, the client, the people that I serve do the same, and knowing that people might not be on your level, people might have some skepticism, like they're very skeptical. And again, I know I'm still very skeptical in certain new things that I try. So like that's a certain part that I'm working around. So now I'm wondering, how can we make the switch on the branding side, Nick? So for example, a lot of people, and we've seen this model work, right? Where it's the give for free, give for free, give for free, and build enough trust
Yeah.
that people will eventually want to buy from you,
Yeah.
right? But I noticed that there are some points where it may appear as we're giving for free, but it doesn't work because there's a lot of self promotion tied into it, right? So
Mm.
instead of what feels like a value add, there is no ad. It's just an ad, right? I mean, excuse me, there's no value. It's just an ad, right? It's like a
Yes.
self-promotion thing. It's like, oh, but I've been giving away free value. But have you've been more so promoting yourself, and I don't know
Mm.
that that can be counted as free, right? Like
Mm.
there's a difference there. So just talk about, I guess, like a starter kit of, yo, how can I know the difference between me giving away free value, me showing up on live, again, every single day for 3-4 years, nonstop, even sometimes at 10, 11, 12 o'clock after a podcast, on the road, wherever
Mm.
it may be, still being consistent because I know there's an obligation to give in many different facets, whether that's being funny, whether that's teaching, training, whatever it is, versus I'm jumping on to keep showing you my accomplishments or convince you that I'm the best option for you, right? Because again, those are two different things. But when I think about free, people are making that mistake and calling it such when it's not.
Yeah, I mean, value and bragging is two different things. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
we got to look at it in a sense of what are we doing for our audience rather than what are we doing for ourselves. Yes, there is a strategy of like if we give enough value, then down the road we can sell something and it's just easier that way. But you have to, you can't instantly think, okay, I do something for free, give me something back. Like you always have to look at it like a relationship because it is a relationship with people. You're creating a connection, you're talking to them, and if we're saying in real life, don't expect anything back. Don't expect anything back in social media. Don't expect anything back when it comes to your brand. You're literally doing something for others, and the reward is out of this world if you come pure with heart. Now, yes, this is a business. Okay, we are trying to monetize and we are trying to make a living and generational wealth. Absolutely, fully understand it, right? However, if we really look at the ones that are winning, it is those that serve with nothing in return. See what I'm saying? Like we have to understand there has to be a feature, not maybe necessarily your whole social media, but there has to be a part of it that you are just serving on. And then there's other parts where we're looking at strategizing to monetize on, right? Because we have to create a safe zone for our followers. We have to create a safe zone for our audience that they know that we're not in it just for the money. We're not in it just to show you our lifestyle. We're not in it just to be about the fame and everything and the influence. We're really in it with this solution that we have to serve others, right? And the more that we find this lane, this feature, this platform that we can serve on, right? The more that our brand awareness goes out, and the more that we have the ability to monetize down the road. Now, down the road for you may be a few weeks, maybe a few months, maybe a few years. That's up to you and your business model, right? The way that I do it is a more exclusive and limited kind of way. So it's not for everybody. But from working with, top brands, I've seen that there is at least one or two things that they expect nothing in return. And if you don't necessarily have that within your brand, right, then you're doing something wrong. Now, the great thing about doing things with not wanting anything in return is that you will still get a return. So for example, when we're talking about social media and we're creating content on all these different platforms, it's not from the people you're going to get paid for. It's going to be from the platforms that are going to pay for you. So you can do all this content on YouTube, right? And then eventually the platform is going to pay you to continue to do all this that you do on YouTube of what you were already going to do. Same thing with Facebook, same thing with Instagram, same thing with TikTok, right? Same thing with Twitter now. So from a long game standpoint, if you can find a channel that you can go all in on and say, this is my way to give back and add value and create solutions to people's pain points. And it doesn't have to be in an organized way. We've said it here before that people do not pay for information. People pay for organization and access, right? So you could give all the game that you want to. People are still going to go to you to make it all make sense in their world, right? So if you can find those one or two channels that you go all in on, those channels are going to pay you. There's something they need. Social media platforms need us more than we need them, but we act as if we need them more. And we're thirsty for them all the time. Like we are just pure, and me and Moose have spoken about it when Facebook and Instagram went down. We're acting as like pure crack addicts, right? With these social media platforms. This is just a fact, right? But we have to understand and break it down to where, we are the reason these social media platforms are living. Without users, without content, they would be nothing. They are getting paid to have the attention of users. So they have to continue to dish out some money to make people happy. So this is where your serving now monetizes, not from a people standpoint, but from a platform standpoint. And this is where you start to leverage, right? And that's a whole other different topic, but understand that it's there, right? But you wouldn't know that if you went into your content strategy, your branding strategy with only monetization in mind. You will not look at different ways to leverage taking a free platform and leveraging that for brand awareness and monetization, not only from a people standpoint, but from a platform standpoint as well. So, there is different strategies as far as, the free, the free to paid and all that. But at the end of the day, if you are going on and creating a brand that's just showing lifestyle, we're in an era where we don't care so much.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle's great. Absolutely. It's a goal. Absolutely. But it doesn't do anything for me. So I can't really invest in you because you're not giving me anything besides goals that I don't know if I could reach, because you're not giving me this, not 1, 2, or 3 steps to get to where you are.
Wow. I love, and I don't know if everyone caught that, but I definitely want to just kind of reiterate, because I think that is so dope, right? So you said there's a difference between free or value and bragging. There's a difference there. But also know that you got to have almost your own strategy for what you're doing just for free and what you're doing for free to eventually get paid for. So I feel like, I like kind of things that rhyme, right? Or things that have consistency. So I'm thinking of like these 3 Ps. You can profit off of P. You can profit off of free. I say you can profit off of P. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was like, wow,
You can
okay.
profit. You can profit off of free.
Yep.
Not from people, but through platforms.
Yes.
All right. Can you go into that a little bit more? Because just give us the ABCs. Like, man, maybe I have no idea what that means. How can I profit from a platform for what I'm doing, as opposed to getting it directly from people? And also, I like to tie into that because I like what Bernadette said too, right? She said, what you're giving for free, someone else is charging for the same thing. So like
Oh my
with
God,
that,
that. Oh.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, touch on that too, because is that a way that brands can develop their quote unquote free strategy? It's like, yo, what are some of the people out there doing for
Hmm.
pay that maybe I'm slightly behind? I don't have as much exposure, I don't have as much reach. So my competitive advantage is I'm gonna do what you do, which I'm
Hmm.
against doing anything that somebody else is doing. But let's just say, for the sake of conversation, I'm going to do what
Yes.
you do, but instead of charging for it, I'm going to do it for free. Is that a legitimate like strategy that somebody can consider if they're trying to catch up, if they're trying to, you know, get a head start in the game?
And I think that's where it goes to why information is free, because that does play a role. Like there are people
Hmm.
who are giving the game out for a charge, and then there's people who are just trying to catch up and say, "Hey, you can go over there and pay $1,000, or you could just become my follower, and I give you the game
Hmm.
for free." Right
Right.
now, it's that's it's kind of part of the game. It just is what it is, right? Um, and there's no right or wrong with that. If you found an audience that you can, that will pay you for certain information that you learn in the book, by all means, I'm not knocking your hustle. You know what I mean? But that is a situation. That is now. What was the thing you said before the Bernadette thing, though?
Like how can people profit from platforms
Oh yes. So
or brands profit from platforms? Yeah.
yeah. So here I'll give a few examples. So we'll do like YouTube, right? So if we have, let's say you have a product, right? And you are doing different reviews on the particular product, the journey of, you're documenting this on YouTube, the journey of the product, just so you can give out more information. But what happens is when you start getting about 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, YouTube is saying, hey, I can start running ads on you, right? And so the in in a way we thought, okay, I need to put this content out, for one, because on YouTube is the Google of videos. I need to get people to search my stuff. But now, while possibly waiting for somebody to buy my product, I'm actually getting paid on the platform as well. Another example is when this is being recorded, Instagram released badges to every U.S. creator who is eligible, and whoever is eligible, that's 18 plus 10K followers, right? Now, this is a way where you go on live and you add value for free. This is your free 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, however long you go on live. And if people want to tip you, they could buy a badge, right? And now you're being able to monetize something that you were doing for free as well. Same thing with Facebook. They do also ads and what they call it stars. YouTube does it on for these lives. It's called Super Chat. Slight plug, if you're on YouTube, go get the Super Chat thing, right? So there's different things that, because we are on the platform and we are already creating content, we have to understand the different ways to monetize it. So even though it's a few coins here and there, those few coins really do add up after a while, because as you may be in this wave of entrepreneurship or even having a business, there are going to be some down days that your content is still going to make money, regardless if your products and services don't make any kind of money.
That's good. That's good. Yep. I love that. I love that. And I didn't know that they rolled that out to everyone today, like the badges feature, because I know that was to select people. They ran promos on it and the whole nine. So no, that's cool. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
I kind of know all these
Uh,
things. I mean,
oh, that I mean, heck yeah. Hey, I'm curious to know, man, if and as always, I don't know. I know that we never really like leave time for questions that happens like super duper rare. But again, man, wherever you're tuned in from, let us know in the chat. Chat's a little quiet today, so let's see if y'all got any questions or any comments, definitely tap in. I want to make sure, we're kind of giving personalized value nonetheless too, because I think that's important. I always like to do that. I'm sure Nikki does too. She does it every day. But yeah, that'd be cool. And then the other thing, let's talk about this too, because you were on the call yesterday, and and this is like, it's within context, right? We're talking about free, because I think from a business side, here's a way to shoot yourself in the foot by overgiving, by too much free, by not letting people almost take serious what you're delivering, because you're maybe trying to give too much free, right?
Right.
There's no level of accountability, or there is no investment. So I don't really take it serious. Or I just feel like, well, it's always going to be available to me because I've paid the minimum entry to, or the minimum barrier to enter, and I'm always going to have access. So there is no sense of urgency to apply what you're getting now, because, well, why? Maybe I can apply it 6 months from now, 3 months from now. Like there's no real repercussions for it. So yesterday I kind of hinted at the fact, like, come on, y'all, like there's some stuff that we give to you that we shouldn't give. That's not a part of what we originally offered, because we want to give value, or we want to continue to add value. We want to not be like maybe some other programs that are going to tear you to death and continue to take money from you for every single little thing. Because I know, I actually had a friend, and you know her, we saw her at 120, but she was telling me how she was growing a business on a part of a program, and any one-on-ones were an additional cost of $500 an hour.
Yes.
So like, she's like, yo, but even questions that I had, I couldn't get access to the person because there was a cost just to that. So my point is, now on the flip side of it, when you're running a community, you're running a business, you have access to, your daily stuff, and you want to give more free, there's a point where it actually becomes more harm than good. Like it does you no good, because people don't take any of it for seriously, or they take it for granted, right? So let's talk about that a little bit, because you dropped some air horns when I said that in the private chat yesterday.
I needed them to understand that. And we didn't talk about it like offline or anything, because I was going to ask a few questions, which I'm not going to ask here because I know better. But we have to get people trained, and not to treat them like dogs or anything like that, but we have to get people to train to value us, right? And if you give everything away for free, or for bare minimum cost just because they're in a community, right? This is not to Moose, I'm just speaking, right? But if you do that, they're always going to take it for granted. They're going to be like, I can always do that. I can always ask, because when I ask, they're going to do it. And I may not have been ready, but I know I can ask again. It's more of, okay, you want that dope, going to do a training, add a cost to it. If you're serious about it, here you go, right? Even if it's a bare minimum cost, there still needs to be a cost to it. So I don't care if you charge $10. I don't care if you charge $100, $1,000. Charge it so they know when I think of something and I request it, I have to already understand that there is going to be some type of charge. So I better really need it, because I already know it's coming with something. Why? Because you've already proven with countless amount of content and countless amount of hours on calls, on content, everything like that, that you know what you're talking about, that you know what you're doing, and proof is in the pudding. I don't have to prove anything else to you. And that sounds a little bit harsh, but like, you're here for a reason. And so what a lot of us do is, and I did it even myself, like, okay, you're in a community, you paid for something, so I should just give you I just want to accommodate you because I want to make sure you stay. I don't want you to go nowhere. Retention is great. If you go, my retention is going to be crazy. Like, stay. Oh, you need this? Let's get on a call. Let's do this, right? It's more like, if I want to, sure. But if you ask me to, it comes with a cost. On my time, it's free. On your time, it costs something. Because now I'm trying to make time for what you need. And then if I do that for free, then people are going to be like, oh, I can ask him or her anything.
Right.
Anytime. Like, this is
Anytime.
this is a community I could, Moose, Nicky, anybody, do this. I need more help in learning this. I need more help learning how to post. I need more.
Right.
Okay, we'll do a whole training. Crick, 4 people. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 people. Yeah. First off, salute to the 4. I don't want to discredit the 4 because y'all took this serious. And for that, I have you in the back of my mind whenever I do something else. You're a different group. However, for all you other people, nah. This is not what we're doing. This is not. So it's more of, and I talk about this on my social media, where I could go all in on lives if you want, like all day. Go every kind of type of class you want, any type of topic, I got you. Whoop-de-woo. If you ask me in my live, I got you. If you ask me outside of my live, you got to go in the community. You got to pay that $34.99 charge.
Yeah.
Get in the community, and my community members will help you.
No, that's rich. That's rich. No, that's real. That's real. And I'm literally pointing it out because I thought about it yesterday, and I'm like, yo, as a matter of fact, this is where we're hurting them more than we're helping them, because there's too much access. As a matter of fact, you look, and I'm giving you a real live example from what I did, what we're doing, and I'm telling other business owners, and like you said, especially those involved in some form of SaaS model or a community-based model where retention might be important to you. But I'll be honest, Nix, when I made that play, it wasn't even based off of retention. In my mind, it was the month of November. I always do something for the month of November. And I'm like, let me not do that for strangers. Let me do that for our people. But it shocked me when there wasn't the person who asked for it taking advantage of it.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait a second.
Never is.
You got 10, 12, 13 other people who jumped on it. And I'm talking about within like 24, 48 hours, it was done with.
Absolutely.
But that main person, I'm like, okay, I think this is a lesson for us business owners to know that while some of us need to give and stop bragging, there are other of us who actually need to give with some level of accountability, some level of strategy attached to it, because that part is rich. Like, yo, if you ask me on a set area or a set platform, cool, I got you. But if you're gonna say it elsewhere, nah, hold up. Or at a different time, yeah, you're gonna have to get a charge.
Yeah, no, I'm super big on that. Like, just because my time got wasted so many different times. You see what I'm saying? And understanding that as brands, we already do a lot to be put out there, to build trust, now you're already in the community. How am I supposed to monetize in anything if I continue, once you're in the monetization model, continue to give you stuff for free?
Right.
Can't do that. Right. And it requires boundaries, and it gains respect when you do put up those boundaries. If you don't put up those boundaries, they do not respect you. They will always take you for granted and be like, oh, and Ashley, I'm not using you as an example. You just commented, so I'm just going to say that. Oh, Ashley is, she'll get on the phone with me, this, that, and the third. Shout out to my text community. Some people will be like, hey, let's get on a call. I'll take you to lunch. Da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's a one-on-one. That's absolutely a one-on-one. That's not, I don't get on the call for it. Well, it's just to see, I suck at social media. No doubt. I have so much content that you can go and figure that all out for yourself. But if you want me on the phone, no. I have to set some type of boundaries, because if I don't do it, they won't.
Yeah. Yeah, the cost of free, y'all. I'm telling you, free cost, right? So like free cost when we look to get something for free, and free cost even when we give something for free, like giving too much away for free. And that's why like how this kind of thing came all together. I'm like, okay, from a personal standpoint, yep, there is a lack of thinking, or like this shortage that we think through. Like we think we can skip coffee our way to millionaires. Like you can't skip your coffee way into a millionaire. Like it ain't gonna happen that way, right? Like I said, there are some people who see money as a form of value or validation, and there are others who use money as a resource. And then you're seeing it here now for both brands and businesses. There's a level where giving is important, but there's a strategy involved into that, because you don't want to overgive, and then it starts to cost you either revenue that you should be earning, right? Or people just not taking your stuff seriously. So then it drags down the value of your community, your product, your service, because people are like, oh, but it doesn't work. It's like, wait, it doesn't work, or you're not working it, right? So again, we could always be frustrated at the consumer, but I think the best thing to do is point the finger back to us as some of the program directors, the entrepreneurs, the leaders who lead this thing out, and saying, okay, how can I start doing things a little bit differently so that we create the impact, the response that, we want to see with our people.
Facts. That was really good. I didn't think we were going to talk about that. That was really good.
Yeah.
And I didn't give too much information. That's, you gotta. I don't think y'all understand the struggle of a transparent person to a non-transparent person. I don't think y'all understand this struggle. I get proud of myself. If no one else is going to be proud, I got to be proud of myself that at least that I can respect Moose's kind of vibes and yet still have a conversation that makes sense. That is grand. I don't know how we were doing this before.
Rich.
Yo, I promise you, if you don't have friends like that respect and not just do things for content, I don't know what you're doing. Find better friends. I'm just saying.
That's right.
But
that's right. No,
look, everybody.
Seriously.
Yeah, everybody who is still on, listen, we have something really dope. After this live, we are premiering a clip from the podcast, trying something new. It's called Welcome to the Metaverse. Okay? A clip from this week's podcast. It is going to premiere right after this, so you don't even have to go anywhere. It instantly directs you to this particular clip. You let us know how you think of it. It's kind of a vibe. I like this part of the podcast when we were talking about the whole metaverse and what does this mean for us and what does this mean for brands and businesses and haters and all that great stuff. It's just a great vibe. It's a great vibe. I don't know.
For real.
What you think about it?
I'm fascinated with this like metaverse concept, to be honest with you, because it's like, it's so scary that I'm like, damn, part of it is cool. And I'm just like, the fact that this is a possible reality for us, granted, I know it's not going to happen tomorrow, but the fact that we're even starting to have conversation and imagine the things that were never possible, I love that opportunity for humans. Like, let's start imagining the impossible a little bit, because look, if Facebook is doing it, I think we need to start doing it. If Meta's doing it, then we need to start doing it. You guys do it to our level. Like, there's no wrong in doing that. Like, do it to your level and be like, yo, what would this look like? How can I, so I think, I'm really excited for what's to come out of those dialogues.
Big facts. So if you are on YouTube, Facebook people, Twitter people, come on YouTube real quick. It's about to premiere right now. We are out. We love you. Thank you, Moose, for great conversations as always. Make sure you check out the podcast. And you know what we're going to say?
Video.